You cannot deny what has been built just because you burned it down. That doesn't change the reality. But our people are a creative people. We're people who build. We're people who improve. We're people who provide. We're people who create. And we always will be that kind of people, which means that we will always surpass you. That's your inheritance, not the burning, the building. And once you see that inheritance correctly, in my opinion, the question is no longer, can we build? Is this possible? That question has already been answered. Understand me? And it has been answered repeatedly. It has been answered every single time that the African-American community have set their hand to that kind of a work. And every time they set their hand to that kind of work, they succeed. That's what you need to evaluate. The local mob in Tulsa, the Oklahoma State National Guard, the federal silence in Washington, the financial interests of the white merchants who competed with Black Wall Street, all of those forces were all moving in the same direction because they were all serving a single, at that time, coherent imperial project that required, by its own logic, Black subordination as a structural feature domestically. Well, in 2026, that alignment is gone. That alignment is gone. But in 2026, you are facing an opponent that has largely lost interest in what even happens in America. They still have some capacity to do damage on a small scale, but they are no longer being reinforced by global capital. Global capital that has a stake in their continued operations. They don't have that support now. They're operating on inertia, on the spasms of an order whose financiers have already moved on. Do you understand me? That is a much weaker opponent than was faced in Greenwood by your great-grandparents. And this is exactly the era in which parallel institutions have historically been able to flourish. Look at the history. Many, many diaspora and minority communities have been able to build durable, autonomous infrastructure precisely during periods of imperial decentralization, imperial crumbling. They used that opportunity. And many of the most important Islamic institutions in Indonesia today trace back to those families who did that, who built those networks. The Chinese diaspora in Southeast Asia, they built the commercial system during European decolonization. That's when they thrived. That's when they flourished. The Lebanese diaspora built their whole transatlantic networks during the breakdown of French authority in the Levant. And your own people, African Americans, you've done this already. You did this once already inside that very country. We're talking about after Reconstruction, when Reconstruction collapsed in 1877 and the federal government abandoned Black Americans.